G'day! In today's video I'm going to be replacing the screen on this Samsung Galaxy A50. This one's got a cracked OLED display in the top corner that you may or may not be able to see out here. Anyway, I've had it sitting on my blue heat pad now for around about 15 minutes just to get the back of that nice and toasty. So this should hopefully come up with minimal fuss. I'm going to use a metal pry tool, mostly. That will get me in. Then I'm going to use a slightly fatter metal pry tool to open it up. So I'll spray on some isopropyl. And I'll start working into it. Now that should just be enough there that I can work this one into there. There we go. So this is mainly coming off due to the heat, more so than the isopropyl. Being a plastic back, you can bend it slightly without tearing it. So what I'm trying to do here is preserve the original factory adhesive, which so far is going reasonably well. So I find usually taking the back off to be the biggest challenge of these phones, or at least from an experience side of things. There we go, this should come off now. Bingo. One factory back cover out of the way. Now I need a bit of a screw tray here. Another thing you're going to have to do is put the SIM tray out. There it is. This one is a SD/single nano SIM. Some regions may have dual SIM. From here it's a matter of taking out the various Phillips head screwdrivers, or screws. So we look to have 6 at the top and 7 at the bottom. And the screws themselves may actually just end up staying in there. They don't usually come out with a screwdriver, so usually I unscrew them and then go around with a pair of tweezers at the end. These ones are leaving, which is handy. Go. So the bottom one's left, the top ones didn't. And we got launched off into the table. Two, three. And then from here, I'm going to try and get a fingernail just into the groove, enough to separate the back from the frame. Go. And I'm in. So from here there's a few more screws to undo, but I'll start by disconnecting the battery. Then where else will I proceed? Single screw here over at the main board. I'm going to leave the antenna cables connected. I usually disconnect them from the daughter boards, as there is a risk of disconnecting them and tearing off the jack itself that's on there. So you don't want to do that. You'll have bad days and bad service if you do that. I'll disconnect the display flex cable. Disconnect the daughter board cable. Here I'll get the new screen out and in shot. So from here I'm also going to pry up this. It lifts up. There we go. Now I'm going to need to prep the replacement board. Take off the various covers from the factory. Be careful not to take off the thermal pad with it. There we go. So I'll lift that up and just sit that there for the minute. Now I'm going to need to focus on removing the earpiece speaker, the vibrator motor. So I'm just pried under. There's a slight groove there to pry into it to get it out. I'll drop it back into here. Now you do want to be careful with the earpiece speaker, as you do run the risk of damaging it. So I tend to dig down under it and then go forward. Kind of like that. So I should be able to slide that just in under here. In. There we go. So that's the top half of the phone, mostly prepped. So I'll put the factory screw back in here. In. Superb. Now time to keep working down the phone. Zoom out for a minute. I'm going to focus on the daughter board down here. Now this bit here and these two screws is the in-screen fingerprint reader. So with that disconnected, I should be able to flick it up. It's going to stay there by itself. So I'm going to work on the daughter board. With these I typically pry in from an angle and just lift it up slightly and work my way around. And we're out. So now I'm going to put that in here. And screw in and fix in the fingerprint scanner. There. There. This cable here, I tend to put it in its original location that it needs to go to, and then trace my way back. And now I'll reconnect this. Put it into its little holder. Go. And then last of all is the battery. One thing you will need to remember to remove, that I have just screwed into, is the plastic on the fingerprint scanner. That's why when I was screwing it in, it didn't feel quite right. So I'll lift this up now, peel this off. And then push this back down. There we go. Much better. And the battery, there's a couple of ways you can try to get it out. Pretty much my go-to method with most batteries nowadays is a quick spray of isopropyl. And let it seep in. Then a plastic pry tool or card. And that normally softens the adhesive enough that you can just go like that, and I'm in. I'm going to turn the heat off as it's no longer necessary. Lay that down. Just going to run a couple of strips of adhesive with some red. Pretty much you don't need to usually use too much tape for a screen or for a battery because they're going to be surrounded by everything else. They're not really going anywhere. So that should be ample amount. One battery. Typically connect it up just so you make sure it's sitting in the right place before you stick it. Funnily enough, it's challenging me. Click, got it. So now I'll unstick it, move it to where it's meant to be, and put it down, run across it, disconnect the battery again, proceed with the two daughter cables. So I'll do the display first, just because it's already in my hand. It should click in, top and bottom, bottom and top. It should click onto the daughter board. Click onto the main board. No click there. That time it clicked on. Excellent. Now we'll connect the battery back up. And this phone is almost done. So from here what I would do, apart from sticking this little bit down that keeps popping up, is I would recommend to just put the back cover on the phone, so this, and make sure the phone will display and function as it should prior to putting in all the extra screws that are required. Fold it over. Stick it down. Go, that's now not going anywhere. One back cover back on. Should just be able to work it around with an even squish. Maybe easy to go from the bottom to the top. But then from here, all you should have to do, reinstall your 6 screws at the top, 7 at the bottom, put your SIM tray back in, put on your back cover. With mine I'm going to be able to reuse this, but if you have dramas with it, just use some red tape, put that around all the perimeter, and you should be able to stick that back on and have one done phone. So I hope this video helps you, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye.